All right, so after payments have been made, you're going to have the ability to extract data from our systems. We have different formats in which the data can be extracted, so it can be uploaded either to your software or, in this case, to QuickBooks. We have a predefined report that will extract the file in a QuickBooks format, and then you can upload that file to QuickBooks. So I'm going to go ahead and create a file so you can see how easy it is. You put the dates. You put it's a QuickBook format file, and then you hit export. And right now it's already created the file, and I'm going to hit open. And here is the file that was created in a QuickBooks format for the dates and the payments on those dates. You would save this to your computer and then upload it to QuickBooks, and it will actually post all of your payments directly, so you don't have to manually post them. So this is just something that comes as part of our solution. And if you don't have QuickBooks, there's other file formats that you can use. So you can actually look at the different formats are CSV, which is a comma delimited file, HTML, and Excel if you just want an Excel report that you can import into your software, a tab delimited, or XML. So all of these you can create, and you can actually do your own whatever fields you want to capture and upload. We'll give you and train you on how to get that done. These are all of the fields that you can capture from at the time of the transaction. You would drag those over to the right, for example, and let's say total amount. If I were to create a file right now with the template that I created on a comma delimited format, it would have 3 fields. It would have first name, last name, and amount. So it's very customizable. You can pick more fields or less fields and then generate the export. And then once you save the template the first time, then the next time you come in, all you do is just run that template with the different dates, and the transactions are actually pulled. So that's the export information. We do have, like I said, there's a lot of flexibility. There's advanced options for every type of export that you're doing. It will show you the fields that you're exporting into this specific format. So we can definitely help you and train you on this and use it effectively. The reporting piece of the system also gives you real-time reporting. We have a couple of categories that you'll be using for reporting. We use the return reports, deposit reports, and origination reports. Return reports are pretty easy to use. It's just one report. Anytime there is an e-check that comes back NSF, because there is a possibility that could happen, you actually will get an email automatically from our system, and then you'll have the ability to actually pull reports and find more information about the transaction. For example, this particular transaction was processed on May 2nd. It came back, it was processed on April 29th. It came back on May 2nd, and the reason that the bank returned that transaction was because the account number was not valid. So you'll have a lot of access. These reports come in a PDF format, or you can also export them into a spreadsheet, into a comma delimited file. You have a lot of options to export even the reports that we provide you here. So let me go to the other 2 categories of reporting, which are also important. You're going to see your deposit reports and origination reports. Each one of these categories has similar reports on them. You can create summary reports. So if you wanted to see what was processed in the last month up to yesterday, you can actually run that report, and it will give you the totals by day, so what you processed on the 1st, 2nd, all the way to yesterday. And it gives you a breakdown of e-checks versus the breakdown of each individual credit card, and then your totals for the time period that we selected on the report, which was the 1st to the 8th. Let me go back to the reports. Biggest difference between the origination reports and the deposit reports are that origination reports will show you transactions up to the second. So if a payment is made right now, you should be able to see it on the system and generate a report. So if you're closing your books at 5 o'clock, the last day of the month, you can actually come in and run that report for the current day. And if there are any payments, these are all of the payments that were processed today for this sample account that I have. It will give you some more detail about the transaction, the name, the time. Transaction information will be the invoice or account number or whatever field we're collecting, and it will actually give you the result. It will show you any declines that were attempted. It will show you all successful payments, and it will give you a summary of that. As I mentioned before, the reports from origination and deposit, they look very similar. The biggest difference between the two is that the origination reports, again, show transactions up to the second, whereas the deposit reports will only show transactions that have been successfully settled, and they're either on your bank account already or on their way to your bank account. So deposit reports will not show declines or rejected transactions. They will only show the funds that will be going to your bank account. So the last report I wanted to show you is just a detailed report that you can actually use, because you obviously want to reconcile your bank account to the money that was collected. So that this particular report will give you the exact totals by day and by card type on what should be hitting your bank account. So if you're using credit cards, in this particular case, there's a couple transactions for credit cards for a total of $4,480.14. This should be the exact amount that hits your bank account for the transactions of the first for credit cards. And then separately, obviously, is the e-check reports, which will tally up at the bottom, and again, $6,645.02. That should be deposited. That amount should be deposited to your bank account for the transactions of the first. So that's kind of in a nutshell a little bit of the reporting. Obviously, there's a lot of reports to choose from, and you can play around, but we can point you in the right direction as to what you're trying to accomplish. There's reports that are e-check only, others that are combined. So it's a pretty robust reporting solution.